Hey guys, I am Dr. Kim Sage. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my tiny little kitchen by the beach in Southern California. You're probably wondering, why is she doing this today in her kitchen? And the truth is because I am trying to combine a little bit more my passion for baking as part of how I have learned to heal my childhood and trauma, not just baking, but cooking also. And this idea of what it's like to be raised by borderline parents and narcissistic parents who struggle. And so today's video is really going to go through this book, which is one of the many books and resources I'm using. This book is called Surviving a Borderline Parent: How to Heal Your Childhood Wounds and Build Trust, Boundaries, and Self-Esteem. I believe that because somewhere, at least in the DSM-5, it says that up to somewhere close to 6% of the population struggles with NPD and BPD. I personally believe, because of our lack of underdiagnosing men in BPD and underdiagnosing, my Shih Tzu was having nightmares, I can hear her, sorry, and underdiagnosing women in narcissism, that it is much higher. And today's video is about borderline, and you know I talk about this one probably the most because I think it is the hardest one to identify and heal from. I really believe that many people think their parent is a narcissist when they really are a borderline with some narcissistic tendencies. And the reason why is because I believe with borderline in general, you do get a little more feelings of connection and relationship. And so my videos are about those who are undiagnosed and untreated. But remember, there's a wide spectrum of BPD, not only in how it presents, but that historically the populations that I talk about in terms of the children, those research groups were basically very high end in treatment, oftentimes suicidal, very high risk borderlines, a very clinical population. But that can go all the way down to those who, think that the chaos they have in their lives is not their fault. And so the core of borderline is relational and mood and emotional instability. And so you're going to see this kind of pattern. And so it is the case often that when it's good, it's so good. But when it's bad, it is so damn bad. And that is why I am just, I'm always asking myself, like, what am I doing and why am I doing this and what is my goal? And it really is to share with you guys at the core what it is like to be raised by parents who struggle like this, for you to understand it so that you can carve out and heal your own life and at least work on not recreating oftentimes the chaos of your childhood. Because the truth is that as a result of their own difficulties on the spectrum, Bella, she's having nightmares. My Shih Tzu's having nightmares. The truth is that it really varies. And so, one second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to give her a little love so she'd stop having nightmares. Oh, that's probably trauma right there. She's probably smuggled somewhere. Okay, anyway, back to the video. So I think what happens is because these parents often have such emotional and internal turmoil and chaos, as a child, you often do too. And the research shows there are, more school issues, more attention issues, more moving. Times people are moving. If you think about it, if you're struggling to be stable inside in different ways, it's going to be hard to be stable, in other parts of your life. Now, this also means that just because I'm talking about instability like a move, you may have had parents who had money, who they never got divorced. And so don't make an assumption that it just looks like one type of chaos, because it may be that your mom was never happy, that she made you her emotional partner, or your dad, or this parent was like so great, and then they would buy you great things and love on you so much, and then turn around and just literally like nail you to the wall with hurtful things they said, or projections or name calling. So as I said, this is one of the books I'm going to use. I have so many books on being raised by parents with NPD and or BPD. I will list all of them. And when I do my course, and I have not yet filmed the introduction, I am going to share a bit of my own personal story, which I have been reluctant to do, but I really want to share in the course with those of you who really, care about this topic, that I came to this topic, and I've kind of shared it here and there, but with really two parents who truly, truly struggled and struggle. And it's been, you know, something that has really changed the course of my life. And I really believe that though I have raised pretty much 4 kids as a single mom on my own, that was never my plan. My greatest dream was to be this, you know, I've called it Martha Stewart mother, and live this certain life. And for a minute there, it seemed like I had it, but I walked away from all of it because I had recreated the same patterns in my childhood, and they were way beyond repair. But it then impacted my children, right? And so the generational trauma and challenges, although my kids have had not the same experiences I had, they have had their share. And it has been in large part because, of course, we're always blaming ourselves, because I did not understand really, and I kept enacting these same patterns. And so back to why I said why I do this. If one of you watches this video and before you have a child with somebody, or if you do, you think about how to get help if you have BPD, or you think about the parent you have is very toxic and hurting you, and you decide to change that. If one of you does that, or only one person buys my course, I swear to God, it will be worth it. I really believe that. Okay, so today's video is all about picking up the signals from BPD parents. And so these are the messages that this book talks about. And this book's about, I think, 10 or 11 years old. There's a lot of really good stuff in it. I'm sure there's some research now that we've had, which I know there's some research now that's missing, but it really is chock full of some great strategies, and I do recommend it. So these are the messages because of the relational and emotional instability at the core of BPD that children experience. Oh, and by the way, I'm making sugar cookies. I was going to make my chocolate meringue pillow clouds, which I might do next time. I might start icing cookies in the middle of this. You can tell between menopause and being a certain age, I suddenly gained weight, and my sweet tooth caught up with me, and I care, but I don't care that much. So I might have some icing while I go. Okay, you're like, we don't care. Keep going, Kim. Okay, so what the bottom line here is the messages that children may receive from parents with BPD include: I'm a victim. This is the parent to the child. You hurt me, and it is your responsibility to take care of me. That is that rotating around the parent I talk about, right? You learn to, you have to make sure your BPD parent is okay for you to be okay. And then that becomes a compulsive thing you do. And then you become a people pleaser and a compulsive caretaker. And oftentimes you become super independent and also an adult at the age of like 8, right? The next one is, I have no control. I am not to be held accountable for what I say or do. I may not even accurately remember what transpired. Very common with those who struggle in untreated and undiagnosed borderline. I'm not talking about those of you who are working on yourselves and who have some insight, but the core often of these disorders is a lack of insight, and memory issues are very common. They will say, I never said that. You're a liar. What are you talking about? I would never say that to you. And you're like, Mom or Dad, like, I have it on my phone. You could actually record it, and they probably would be able to tell you that wasn't them. So then there's no ownership, right, for what they did or said. The next one is, my needs come first. When I do something for you, it's possible I'm doing it to satisfy some need I have. For example, giving you a gift makes me feel like I'm being a good parent. It's less about you than about me. The next one is, no one understands me. No one could possibly understand how hard I have it, how difficult my life is, or what I'm going through. That's that very victim mentality we can see in both NPD and BPD. But oftentimes the core of this is that, they do actually oftentimes create hard lives for themselves because they struggle so much because of their own trauma, their own childhood. Remember, a lot of parents who are BPD may have very clearly had a parent with BPD or significant trauma, but they often feel that whether it's like the kind of covert, quiet borderline where like I'm a victim, or it's just, stated out loud, like you have no idea. I heard this one a lot. You have no idea what I went through, and it's like, well, in comparison, your childhood looked pretty damn good, but I digress. Okay, I am entitled, and alternatively, I am worthless. So that could be that core borderline is so afraid of abandonment that they don't feel good enough about themselves, although you may not always see that. But at the core, it's like, it's no matter what, it's still your responsibility as a child to booster up my sense of self. And I'm relying on you to do that, and you feel that pressure. And frankly, you get a lot of power as a kid like this because they do put emotional responsibilities on you, and you do learn how to take care of them sometimes. And then they can be very loving and shower you with all this love because you took care of them, but then it can make it really hard to separate. In fact, really quickly, a lot of people raised by these parents have this like own splitting push-pull with the parent. They love the parent so much, they feel so much guilt, they feel so dependent upon them, like, oh my God, like I'll never survive without you. And the flip side is like, I hate you, I don't want to be around you, I will move across the country to get away from you. But it can be very hard to shake those dynamics. And as I've said, and I'll keep saying, I think it's even harder when you have either a single parent or the other parent is really absent, and so there's just a direct avenue to the child to fill the parent up. The last one is, my perspective is right, the rest of the world is wrong, but nobody listens to me, right? And so that's that very sort of limited insight that everyone who struggles, I'm gonna start icing cookies now, with borderline or narcissism, that's what they do, right? They have, I just said that really fast. That is very common. I'm going to slow down. You guys know I struggle with this one. That their sense of insight is very poor. And so they have a hard time owning their behavior. And at the core, as a child, time for sprinkles, then you think it's your fault and you think it's about you. And so then you carry that path into your whole life where it's always your responsibility to fix everybody else and take care of everyone else. And on it goes. So in the next video, we'll talk about what the lessons are from this sort of like messaging pattern. And I'll be going through from this book as well. Once again, it's this book if you want to check it out. But at the core, you really do have these, it's like a religion that you begin to take on. You know, your experiences with a parent like this make you believe a bunch of things about the world and relationships that are often not true and only going to work when you pick another unhealthy partner, and then you want to heal those wounds, but then you then play them out all over again. Except now, for many of us, we're dragging kids with us, and it's very common for those of us raised by borderline and for borderlines to choose narcissists because they seem so much more contained and together and confident, which is the opposite of that chaotic environment we had. And or also maybe choosing avoidant partners, right? So they will swing all the way from a kind of messy, toxic parent to a very, you know, emotionally removed parent. And then they wake up one day and they're like, God, you know, like, are you even in there? You don't meet my needs. Don't you know who I am? I'm so lonely in our marriage or whatever relationship. Or this parent, you know, just doesn't engage and they're so shut down. But that seems so much safer than chaos, but all of a sudden they almost want chaos. So like that whole dynamic is very, very common. So I hope I didn't talk too fast today. You guys know I probably did. And I will see you next week, and we will talk about how these signals kind of play out and what the lessons are that you learn. And I swear to you, I will be dropping the courses. I'm hoping in the next few weeks. I need to probably hire somebody. If you guys know anybody who's great at course building and video editing, let me know in the comments because it's really out of my pay grade. I'm really trying, but I cannot wait to share. And really quickly, I got so inspired, I built like 3 other courses that are like 75% done, so that distracted me too. Can you tell I have a little bit of my own trauma ADHD responses? But they're all about like remothering and parenting triggers and just a lot of great stuff that I can't wait to share. So thanks for watching, guys. Please stay safe and well. And yeah, see you next time. I'm gonna enjoy my cookie. Bye. I love frosting, so good.